Hello, I am here today to show you how to take an image of yourself and then using Pixlr, turn it into a pop art image with a saying. Pop art is a type of artwork that is based on popular culture. Our piece is based on the work of Lichtenstein, who would use comics as his inspiration in the 1960s, and then use those to create these really interesting sort of up-close zoomed images of people, and often changing the phrasing or words that were in their talk bubbles to be making commentary about the art world. So this is how you are going to start. You'll open up Pixlr, you'll open up an image of yourself. This one has to be an image of me and my cat. The first thing that you'll want to do with your image is take the transparency down a little bit so that you can still see the image, but you can also see a little bit of the checkered background. The reason why we want to do that is when we start making our marks on a new layer, we want to be able to see what we're doing. So the next thing that I'm going to do is create a new layer. So I press the plus sign and I want it to be an empty layer because I am going to be putting things in. I'm going to be actually creating this contour outline. Now you notice with my contour outline, I'm going to use the draw pen or the draw brush. And I'm going to use a brush that is a pretty thick brush, not too thick, but a good amount of substance to it. And I can see sort of the preview of what the brush is going to look like there. So now when I start to draw, oops, I want to flip these so it's a black outline. When I start to draw the line, I'm following the contour of the face, and I'm using my mouse to do it. So I would use the pathway to create sort of the outline of my face. If it's a little bit too thick, I can change the thickness of the brush by clicking on the 13 here and then adjusting the size of the brush as I see fit. So if I want it to be smaller or if I want it to be bigger, I can adjust it right there. Now I already have a layer like that done, so I'm going to open up that layer so you can see it. Now I'm going to make a duplicate of my outlined layer, and I'm going to click on the little three dots next to it and create duplicate layer. On the lower copy of that, I'm going to use this layer now to start filling in colors for the background, the hair, the face, and the shirt. So I'm going to click on my color guy here, and let's say the first thing I'm going to do is get sort of these red tones. I'm going to pick on the paint bucket, and then I'm going to click on where I'd like that to be filled in. So that fills in that whole area. The next thing that I'm going to do is, let's do the hair. So I'm going to click back on this red guy. I'm going to go into the oranges, and with that, you can see that when I go over here, it can get to sort of those colors that are kind of a brown tone color. So I'm going to click on filling in the hair color. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is the skin tone. So it's going to be kind of like this skin tone. And I'm going to fill in where I think that skin tone is. I see that I still need to do the teeth, the mouth, the shirt, and the eyebrow. So I know that I want my eyebrow to be similar color to my hair. Let me zoom in here. That tiny little spot right there. Good. And then let's do the eyes. I'm going to have them be brown as well. And then let's get the white of the teeth and the eye area like so, and then the mouth. So I'll do this pink lipstick. It's a little bit bold, but that works. It's okay. And then the shirt. I'm going to do a kind of bluish turquoise shirt. All right. So I have the colors filled in, the areas that I'd like them to be. I should see there's one area up here that I want to make sure that I get. Okay, very good. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I want it to have that sort of dotted look to it. So you're going to go to Filter and you're going to click on Halftone. Halftone is what caused that sort of dotted or pixelated look to go. If you want your dots to be closer together, you would change the frequency. If you want them to be farther apart, you would have it be less. I'm going to go somewhere kind of in the middle with it, right there, and hit apply. So I'm going to open up the other one just so that you can see what that looks like, the difference between, so there's that one, there's this one. So there's a slight difference, but they have the same sort of look. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is create the word bubble. So to create that word bubble, I'm going to make a new layer. It's going to be an empty layer. I'm going to go with the shapes over here. And then up at the top over here, you can see the different types of shapes. So I'm going to do a rounded rectangle. I'm going to pick white. And let's do a black outline like so. And I'm going to have, oops, let's flip those around. And I'm going to have what would be sort of my speech bubble of what's going to be said. I'm going to use a triangle here too. So I'm going to make a new layer, empty. And that new layer is going to go underneath my square here. And it's going to have the little area where it kind of comes out and angled. So I'm going to make it like that. Now there is this weird little spot right there. So if I go back up to this layer and zoom way in, I'm going to flip those, use my brush tool, and I want to make my brush a little bit bigger. If your computer acts a little bit slow, it's okay. Don't worry about it too much. And then I'm going to paint in that area. Maybe not. Maybe I need to erase that area. Let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay. And let's see what happens when I do that. Is that going to work? Oops. It's because I'm not on the right layer. I need to be on this layer. See, it's always about making sure you're on the right layers. Sometimes you can save yourself a lot of headache making sure that you are on the right layer. So I am making sure that I can get rid of this area. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to add some text in here. And with Roy Lichtenstein, he liked to do a lot of things with that had sort of a little bit of a joke to them. And so you can see, maybe I'll put something like, you spotted me without my mask. So you can see there's a little bit of a pun there because you've spotted me and I'm made out of spots. And then also I'm saying that I don't have my mask on, which I really should have my mask on. You can see here this is way too big, so I'm going to take this and this text, and I'm going to change the size of it to make it smaller, like so. I'm going to bring that in even further. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller still. And I can even change the font style and kind of how I'd like that to be. So once you've gotten it to how you would like it to be, with yourself, your words, everything done, then the next thing that you'll want to do is to go File, Save. It'll give you a preview, save it as a JPEG, change the name of it to be something that you're going to know what it is, and then download it so that you can upload it to Artsonia. So I'm going to call this Pop Art with my name, download it, and then now I can upload this to Artsonia. I'm looking forward to seeing what kinds of sayings you come up with, poses, how you do your halftones when you create this challenge.